Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are. Hope you've had a decent night's sleep. Hope you're enjoying your day. And welcome to the in-depth match analysis for Arsenal 5, Tesco FC 0. It was a spineless, lackluster, desireless, pitiful performance. People in the comments, you may want to say, well, it was Arsenal. It doesn't matter who it's against. I'll say this for the last final time. I can take that scoreline there. I can take it. I can take it on the chin. What I can't take is that, the spinelessness, the lack of desire, the lack of passion, the lack of trying. I am sick to the back teeth of hearing we've signed 23 players. That was back in August, man. We're now turning into November, and people are still turning around with the same sets of excuses. It's so... is all I can say on it. And for me, there's so many individual errors which create a collective error, which creates collective issues, which creates the performance we saw yesterday. From the highs of Liverpool, straight back down to the lows of Arsenal, down here with the Leicesters, with the boring mouths, with the Fulham performances, and so on and so forth. There are some cold, hard facts that we have to come to terms with. Real ugly facts, and we will go through some of those today. But before we get into all of that, please, if you would be kind enough to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you'd like to become a member and support the channel, please do hit that join button. Thank you to all the new members who have recently joined. Your support means more than the world to me, and I do appreciate it. Let's get into this video and let's start to break down. And guys, if you're weak in the stomach, go watch another channel or something, or come back for the next video. But we're gonna look at this match on its merit. Not thinking about the Liverpool match, not thinking about the Brentford match coming up. We have to look at it, and there has to be lessons learned from it. So let's jump into it. Look, the first thing I'm gonna say is the pace of play is beyond a joke at the moment. Unfortunately, I don't have any clips to show you guys of that, but you have to take my word for it. The way that we play that zombie football round the back, and we're not being pressed at certain times and not getting the ball forward, shows you cluelessness. It shows you a lack of understanding of how to pass from player 1 to player 2. Simple football. Passes don't happen. Honestly, if someone can show me a sequence where we did more than 3 or 4 forward progressing passes during that match, at any point, I'd love to see him, because I can't find him. And that, for me, shows not just a lack of cohesion, but a lack of desire, a lack of understanding, a lack of wanting to win a match, or at least pretending that you are there to try and compete. This is Arsenal. They are top of the league. But every single team in this league has the ability to crack under pressure. We saw it against Liverpool last week. Put pressure on their centre-backs, press them, and they will crack. What do we do yesterday? Pretty much the whole match. You'll have McKenna getting the ball, looking up, choosing not to pass it out wide to Lodi or into a midfielder. And to be fair to him, the midfielders were all hiding. Instead, what does he do? He'll go across to Cook or straight back to Henderson, who then tries to ping out a ball to Lodi. Or he will just stand on the ball and wait too long. And then Arsenal think, oh, well, we gave you a chance. We can't be asked to press, you know? All right, we'll come press you now, seeing that you can't be bothered to progress the ball forward. I think Arsenal was shocked by the fact that the ball just was standing still with our centre-backs. I don't understand what they're trying to do. I don't. And was there any movement around with all this time that was being taken with McKenna, Cook, whoever on the ball? Nothing. So to be fair to them, they've got no passing options. But at the same time, how is this not being addressed by Cooper and his team? This is not the first time it's happened in a match. It happens time and time again, and it's being completely ignored. It's like we're just standing there with the ball thinking, oh, the possession stats are at 20%. If I can just hold this ball or maybe pass it back to Henderson, we'll notch our possession stats up to 21%. I don't understand what the philosophy is. I don't understand the reasoning behind it. I don't understand what they're trying to gain by doing it. So for me, I can't show you clips of that, but that was the thing that pissed me off the most, is the lack of ability to progress a ball forward or even attempt to pass. And then what would happen? they would get pressed, and McKenna eventually Arsenal will be like, all right, we'll press you. They panic, either back to Henderson or the Hollywood ball down the left channel from McKenna, over the top, overhit, every single one overhit. He's aiming at either Lingard or Owoni, overhit, straight into the loving hands of Ramsdale in the goal. Ramsdale could have sat there with a beach chair, with some sun cream on, with, you know, a cold drink, and the result wouldn't have changed. It wouldn't have changed. Because let's face it, Lingard is a complete bender with the one shot we did have. The shot Freuler had in the first half was pretty tame and straight at the keeper. And I think Williams had a late shot straight down the keeper's throat. It was good to see that shot from Williams wasn't dragged high and wide as per normal. At least it was on target. Progress there. For those of you who say I'm negative, I'm giving you a positive. Anyway, let's jump into it and let's start by looking at a few of the goals. I'm not going to do all the goals. I haven't got the stomach to do it. And I'm just going to pick out some key moments in these things and we'll talk through them. All right, we've got to start with goal number 1. And as I mentioned, you can pick not just goals, but build-up play and general things throughout the match. It was atrocious. Let's have a look at it here. And this is Yates, who's just done a decent tackle. Look, I would have preferred if the ref had given it as a foul. Maybe we wouldn't have conceded. But anyway, it's by and by. You can see here that MG Dub is pointing for the ball into this space here. Now, what does Yates think he is? He thinks he's the Dan and he's going to thread this ball down this 1 yard space of the byline on the ground. If he is going to play that ball, he needs to go over the top of the defender into the space. It's a simple, logical ball to do. Or what I probably would have preferred at that stage, obviously this is with a bit of hindsight, is just punt the damn thing up the field, man. Just get us back in our shape, because look what's going on here in this quadrant right here. If I just circle it all, well, square it, well, that's a terrible square, but you get what I'm saying. Just look at this space that's being left on the edge of the box. We got Partey here, you got Ben Scheidt here, and you've got Odegaard here, and you've got, I don't know who that is, maybe Martinelli or something. This is in our half, guys. This is the space we are giving up. This is the shape you would expect to see of maybe your defense and your midfielders. Where are our two sitting midfielders? One is here, and one is here. And just out of position completely. Someone needs to step into here, probably Freuler, to cover a bit of the gap. This casual defensive line that's here ball watching needs to move forward to push the line out. Look how deep we've gone back to sitting Cook and McKenna on the 6 yard line again. So just in its essence alone, what have I done here? Let's just bring that back. Just in its essence alone, the shape was already too deep. And this is what, 2 or 3 minutes into the game. We'll progress it forward. And we have a quick look here. The ball goes into the channel. Again, I just want to highlight Partey and the space he's in. No one still reacted from this back 4 or 5 or whoever was in and around this space. It's pretty poo at the moment. Then the ball comes. It gets turned over. MG Dubs overcommitted himself while turning that way. And now look, Tomiyasu has the time and the space to pick passes. He's got an easy pass here into Partey in acres of space. He's got one here into Martinelli, who finally is being closed down, but too little, too late. And the defensive line is still way, way too deep. You got Coyote is actually okay there against Odegaard. And oh, for God's sake, why do I keep skipping back? Sorry, guys. And then you got Lingard over here marking Ben Scheidt, but it is what it is. But look at the space here, still in this middle area. The compactness is completely gone. Let's move it forward. This for me is criminal. This for me, a ball is going to cut all the way across in between the two lines of the midfield and the defense. And what have we got here? We've got a really straight back line. Yates still hasn't recovered from his poor pass. He should be straight away back here. That would allow Coyote more across into that space to maybe be able to cut out the channel pass. The space is crazy. What's even more annoying is the amount of players you'll see in a second that we have against the Arsenal players. Let's move it forward. Actually, before I move it forward, something I want you guys to note is Jesse Lingard here. He's completely left Ben Scheidt, and he's just going to completely ignore him, and you'll see the relevance of it in a second. So the ball comes across, and as I mentioned, it went across the channel line into complete space here into Saka. And you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Forest players behind the ball with only Saka in front of the ball. Pretty damn poor. Pretty damn poor. You'd look at that scenario and you think, there's not much danger here. No, but this is Nottingham Forest. Where there's a chance, there's danger. Across comes the ball. Now what's happened here is Jesse Lingard, ball watching, as always, doesn't see that Ben Scheidt is about to make an overlap. And when it comes to here, what happens is Ben Scheidt goes and overlaps Saka. So he's going to come around like that. This causes Lodi to shift his body weight to the right-hand side, thinking, I've got to defend it. What should have happened was Lingard should have come round with Ben Scheidt to protect that. Because, as I keep mentioning, Saka is so left-footed, he's always going to cut in on his left-hand side. Even if he's going to lay the pass into the path here of Ben Scheidt, he's still going to do it more times than not with his left foot. So you play the percentage games. Also, if he's going to track this Ben Scheidt run, he could have gone around the back of Lodi, and Lodi really should have put his body weight onto his right-hand side to protect it. However, that's all still by and by. Why? Because look at the box, man. Look at this box. Show me where the Arsenal players are in here. 0, 0, zip, nil, kick capoodle, nothing. Ball comes in. Let's move it forward. Ball comes in. Now it's dangerous. Now there's one Arsenal player in the box. One solitary 5'8", 5'9" Martinelli coming in. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Forest players in the box. If you can't defend one player against 7 defenders, what the hell are any of you doing on that goddamn pitch? Who is watching his run? No one. Who's watching the ball? Pretty much all of them. Ball watching. Ball watching. I mean, he's not. Well, he is actually ball watching. Lingard, maybe looking in the crowd there, giving someone a chance at an Instagram post for him. Where the hell is Lingard looking, man? Let's move it forward. Ball comes in. Martinelli's obviously going to make that run across Cook, who's completely asleep. In the ball comes. And then there's Cook. Don't know what he's doing. Going for a swan dive or something. Look, all Cook had to do, all he had to do was press Martinelli to not get the header off. If you're not going to win the header, at least stop the attacker from winning the header. Or shove him a little. Put him off so he can't make a clean contact. Cook's just diving on the floor, man. It's a joke. It's a shambles of a goal. Probably, it's hard to say because they were all pretty shit. How this may have been the worst goal we conceded because we had 7 players against 1 Arsenal attacker. Explain that to me, please. Let's move on to Jesse Lingard because, guys, I tried after the Liverpool match. I thought he didn't have a good game against the Liverpool match when I watched it live. I went back, looked at the highlights. I was like, do you know what? There's signs, there's little bits of granularity, movement and closing down that I can grasp onto desperately trying to hold onto to see that West Ham player that we've all been crying on about emerge and appear. I'm done with him. I can't. I've tried. I'm sorry. He's got to go. He's got to go. Back to Manchester, back to Instagram, back to wherever he wanted to go. Just piss off. Piss off. I'm done with you, man. You can't, in a team that's playing as crap as ours, get opportunities like this one that we're about to look at and not put them away. An absolute gift by Gabriel, the player that I highlighted out that we could target in the Arsenal match. Gabriel, do we target him? Do we make the most of our opportunities? Absolutely not. Gabriel with an absolute hospital pass into Lingard. Now, what does Lingard do? What should he do here? He can either take a touch to compose himself, which probably shouldn't do with the Arsenal players going on, but he has to go high, man. He's got to aim for that top corner, or he's got to whip it across into that side. But it has to go high. It can't go low. And what do we end up seeing? We end up seeing Lingard just nailing the ball into Ben Scheidt. And that's the end of our attack. And that's the end of our productivity. That chance was created by a good splurge forward from Serge Aurier. A terrible ball across from Kyoto. But Gabriel gave us the option to get a goal, and we still didn't take it. You don't take your chances at the Emirates, you might as well go home at that stage. I said the first goal is probably the worst one. This one's about to put itself up in the hierarchy of the rankings for maybe being even worse. And I picked this up just after the ball's come out from Ramsdale. And again, space. Let's talk about space. This is the Arsenal box right here. Look at the space around Partey. You don't give a player of his caliber and his quality that much freedom to dictate the tempo and what he wants to do with the ball. There is no one that will close him down. Just watch this. He goes forward to the halfway line, completely unopposed. Has anyone contemplated closing down the space? No. This is, I mean, you could build a house in that space, man. You literally could build a plot of land in that space and there's no one around him. This would be like if he wanted a secluded area because he's famous and doesn't want to be, harassed by any members of public or famous people in this case. He could have quite easily bought a plot of land in the middle of the Emirates and no one would have bothered him. That much space is criminal. What do you think he's going to do with that ball? He's got time, no pressure. He's got the whole pitch in front of him to look at, to find the pass he wants to produce. And what does he do? He gets into our halfway line and we are still not pressing. Look at the curve here. No one is pressing. They're all running backwards. What the hell are we seeing here, guys? Seriously. This ball now, it's like, which is worse, the space that was given or the ball he's about to produce? He's just going to send this through 2.5 banks of players and he's going to find, I think it's Xhaka. You almost have to laugh or cry. Look, the ball's gone through. It's gone straight through the players here. Absolutely unopposed. You do have to laugh. You have to laugh. Through it comes all the way. Look at that. Look how many lines it's bypassed. It's bypassed. Whoops. Let me just get the magic pen up. It's bypassed that line, and it's going to bypass this line as well with one pass. One measly pass. All created, why? Because no one closed him down and he has the skill and he has the quality to lift his head up under no pressure and just pluck out the pass he wants to do. Through the ball goes. Now we're in space. And this brings me on to a point that I want to talk about. Not just Cook, not just McKenna, not just Lodi, but also Freuler as well. In fact, the whole defensive lineup is so panicky that watch what they do. And this was a repetition time and time again throughout the match. They're sliding on their asses. I honestly had to check the pitch was green because I thought I was watching Dancing on Ice for most of that match. The amount of times a fake kick sends that defender flying. Look at Cook, man. He's literally doing the splits, man. One positive. Here we go. I'm being positive again. He's got a hell of a pair of hamstrings on him. We saw how he brought the ball down against Liverpool. Now we get to see him in one of the hardest splits you can do. Oh, it's painful just to watch. Let's move the screen on. But again, look at it. The actual situation is still not that dangerous. You've got 2 Arsenal players in the box and you've got 2 Forest players with 2 on the edge again. Yates not even busting the gut to get back. You can just see him off screen there, just casually walking. Same with Aurier. Anyway, let's move it forward. Now this scenario is still not that deep. The problem you're going to have here is the space that's about to appear over here on the right-hand side. But again, McKenna not touch tight on Jesus. He could have nicely slipped that ball through into Odegaard. He doesn't do so. Instead, he spreads it out wide. And I freeze-framed it again just so you can see some more Dancing on Ice FC. Freuler's absolutely bailed. He got some good distance on that slide. McKenna did a synchronized one with him as well. In fact, it shows, these people saying players aren't gelling. These 2 are definitely gelling because they timed their bail slides to absolute perfection. In sync. I gave it a 9.9 yesterday. I'm going to up it to a 10. Pathetic. Anyway, shot comes in. He's got to do better. I'm sorry. I know it was a poor shot. He's got to palm it out for a corner or away from this critical area here, the danger zone. It's poor from Henderson. It's probably the first bad save I've seen him make where it's led to a goal or a mistake or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, ball comes down. Where is the reaction from the players? Non-existent. Look where Nelson is, Reece Nelson. He's behind McKenna. He's in line with Yates and he's in line with Aurier. And he is the first to react to it. Yes, the ball does break towards him, but where's the last-ditch slide? Now you should be sliding, McKenna, man. Get your ass on that line. Henderson's too slow to get up, and he just pile drives it into the top corner, and that goal goes in for their second. Let's move on to the final, well, not the final goal, but the final goal I want to talk about today. And again, these goals that I'm showing you are just to highlight the self-inflicted damage that we are doing. You can single players out, but for me, it's a collective. The whole team was crap. The whole team just went back into type. They reverted back to drop back football. They reverted into non-pressing, even in our half, and the spaces they were giving up between the lines was horrific and embarrassing. Let's move on to this third goal. Again, it's not the most dangerous situation. You've got 3 Arsenal players against 4. They're actually quite compact. What's his name? Cook is showing Martinelli out wide, which is fine to do. But run it forward and watch what happens. Now, suddenly, we get the overlap coming through. And now the lines have broken. So Cook's ended up having to commit here. Aurier is completely out of position. He's okay where he is, but it's here where the danger is, on this far hand side, because Lodi's still not tracked back quick enough to get in place and in time. So what you're finding here is a complete mishmash of the shape. Look at that, you've got MG Dub who's tracking back. Look, a lot of people said he had a bad game. He did. But one thing you can't knock him for is his desire to get back and help out where he can. So he's actually covering for Aurier, who is on his way back. But let's run this forward and see what happens. Now, what you'll see is Martinelli's been clever here. He's not aiming at a player. He's aiming at a space anywhere in and around this area here. He's got 2 players on the overload, and Arsenal are very good at getting the overload. So he's bringing the ball into there. Now, you can see Lodi has finally got back, and he's going to go with the runner on the inside here. But what annoys me the most about this is when the ball comes over, again, it's the non-pressing. Look at McKenna. And I did rewatch this to make sure at no stage does he press, and he doesn't. He's got to close down on Jesus, and he's got to not allow him the time and the space to move the ball how he wants him to. Again, it's mistakes that are recurring themes throughout the whole game. And now what you're going to see is Odegaard's going to be clever, spin around the back of him and into the space there. Lodi's not going to track it. Instead, he's going to reverse around that side, which is fine because he can't really risk giving up this area here of the box and leaving it empty. So let's move that quickly forward. There's the spin round from Odegaard. Now Lodi's going to meet him there. At least Lodi does go and meet him, which is not what we saw with the other players, but he's muscled off the ball. Now, look at this space. Because Lodi's gone out there, now suddenly what we have is some weird setup. You've got 1, 2, 3 players all in line. I don't understand what they're doing. Honestly, please someone tell me, am I missing something? Why are they in line? What really should be happening here is they should be, only one of them needs to be on Jesus here. Coyote maybe, and I'm not saying him specifically, but should step in to cover this space. This area here is the danger area right here that's being given up. This is where a goal can come from and does come from. But look at the ball watching, 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 ball watching. No one's taken note of what's going here between Nelson and, is there number 18? Tomiyasu, I think. No one's taken notice of it from a Forest perspective. Anyway, pass breaks out wide. He's going to now lay it off to Jesus. And that space here is still predominant and open. Look at it right here, this space here. Now, Yates has finally reacted because Reece Nelson has made his move into the space. And Yates starts to make his way towards him. Problem is, Yates is behind him. As you can see there, still behind him. Ball gets laid out wide now. And what's Yates done? He's done the cardinal sin of not being goal side of your player. All Yates has to do is force himself in front of him here, man. No way. I mean, the fact that the ball comes through this crowd is crazy in itself. But for Yates to be in the wrong position there is criminal. It's criminal. He's got to get in front of him, because what then happens is when the ball comes through, he's got no chance of getting a foot in. Only thing he could do here is push him over for a pen or whatever, but there's nothing he can do because positionally he was completely wrong. I don't want to show you guys any more clips. I don't want to talk about any more details of the game, and I don't want to end too negatively. But this is the reality of football. I'll go back to my balloon analogy. We had an inflated balloon after the Liverpool match, and they just came, whoop, popped the balloon, and brought us back down to reality. People are now saying free hit. It's not a free hit. That's cost us potentially that's cost us 4 points. What do I mean by that? We've obviously lost the 3 points in the game, but with conceding 5 goals, we are now comfortably so far behind on goal difference that we are not on 9 points in the league. Technically, we are on 8. I hope that makes sense to you. But that really is what's happening. When you get tonked by Man City 6, Leicester 4, and Arsenal 5, you're already giving away 15 goals in 3 matches with 0 in the reply column. On top of that, Forest have not scored more than 2 goals in a game this season. Most of the times we're lucky to score 1. How are you going to claw back a minus 20 goal difference when all I can see going forward is maybe a +1 in games where you win, the draws here and there, and maybe some more slappings in defeat as well. So the goal difference is gone. It's gone. Just knock off a point of whatever point tally we are at any point in the season. Knock off 1 point, because that's the reality. Goal difference makes a huge difference in the Premier League. On top of that, everyone's talking about the Brentford match and this is the reset button and what have you. I'll just remind you, we said that against Bournemouth, what happened there and what happened in the subsequent matches after that. Look, guys, I don't want to be negative. Well, actually, I don't care. If I'm being negative or you're perceiving this as negative, good for you. If you're perceiving it as what it is for, which is to analyze the performance and show you that there still is a lot of work for the team to do, and also to discuss the point that Cooper's tactics are not working. He's gone for this low block football. I've said it week in, week out. He doesn't know how to connect defending well with attacking opportunities. And if he goes for attacking opportunities or a more expansive football, the team doesn't know how to defend. Yesterday was an example of neither. They couldn't defend, nor could they attack. It was the worst case of the both scenarios for that. I think the tactics are still coming from Cooper. I think he needs to take a good, hard look in the mirror. And he's got to ask himself one simple question about yesterday. If we had played with a bit more zip, a bit more desire, a bit more spine, yeah, we probably still would have lost 5-0. But I would have come away from that match thinking, we tried, we made an effort, we lost the top of the league, but we were there to compete. If you're going to go there and you're going to set 10 men behind the box and still not get that right, and you're still going to get tonked 5-0, then why the hell didn't you just go for it anyway, man? You know what? I would have probably preferred 8, 9, 10-0 if I was to see some signs of life from the players and the tactics and the formation. And the question really is, who's to blame for the performance yesterday? Was it the player, was it the manager, or was it both? Let me know what you think down below. For me, it's the combination of both, but it starts with the manager. The instructions were clear. Hold on, let's see how long we can hold them off for. Keep them quiet for 20 minutes, which is fine, but you didn't do it. After 3 or 4 minutes, they were already 1-0 up. And then Tesco FC come out from halftime, because what the hell was said at halftime? Tesco FC come out, bog off style. You buy one, you get 1 goal, you get 2 free within the space of 10 minutes for Nottingham Forest. Let's try and finish with a positive to appease some of the people who are cowering behind the sofa right now. And I'll say this, if you'd offered me 2 points from Liverpool and Arsenal, I'd have bit your damn hand off. But to get 3 points against Liverpool and have a terrible performance like this is not acceptable, in my opinion, because it's going to knock their confidence going into the Brentford match. Am I confident we can get something out of Brentford? Honestly, no. Am I confident we can get something out of Palace? No. But this is Forest. When you expect them to win, they don't. When you expect them to perform, they don't. And when you expect them not to, they do. So I'm going to go in the mindset of we're going to lose to Brentford with the hope that Forest will surprise me and put a smile back on my face. We can't just cower and hide. We are now bottom of the league. The table doesn't lie. If we hadn't got the result against Liverpool, we'd be so far adrift right now. So thank God we were able to get that win. But guys, do you see us surviving? Let me know down below in the comments. Because on this trajectory, where we're averaging less than a point a game, in the Premier League, where you need at bare minimum 36, 37 points to have a chance. Can we do it? That's the question I'll leave you guys with. Thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget before you go to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Look, share your thoughts with me. I don't care if you agree or disagree with what I've said, with my points or whatever. You as fans are entitled to your own opinion and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. So let me know your thoughts down below. Just keep it respectful. As always, if you want to cuss me down, feel free. It doesn't actually bother me. Maybe that will help you vent some of your anger. That's what I'm here for. We'll catch you guys on the next video. And come on, you Reds.